Hello and welcome to the MOPS video trainings. What we're going to do today is to install SQL Server 2008 R2. Let's go ahead, look at some prerequisites. As Microsoft says that you need to have .NET Framework 3.5.1, 3.5, SP1, SQL native client, and supported files. So I already have those things installed. .NET Framework, bits over here, also from iOS server extensions, some of the remote administration tools. By default, when you install desktop experience, by default ink and handwriting services would be installed, and also telnet server configurations. This is my server manager, and let's look at in the control panel. As you can see, native client and support files is already installed. Later on, we will be actually seeing how to install link server, SCCM, etc. So let's try to install Exchange Server, sorry, SQL Server 2008 R2. Will be coming in shortly. Okay, SQL Server Installation Center. As you can see, it's a 2008 R2. So there are so many options over here. You can go for hardware and software requirements. These are actually links. Anything that has a word in it basically means that it will actually point to a web page. Up to advisor, system configuration checker. This is the part where we are going to work our way out. Let's say new installations. We're not going to do for going for any cluster installations right now, failover cluster, upgrade sequences, or whatever it is. We're going to install a brand new copy of SQL Server instances. So it's coming in shortly. As you can see, operating system version, administrator account, computer restart management, and WNI, SQL Server register queries, everything is actually passed. So click OK. By the way, this is my domain controller, and for this video purpose, I'm actually installing on my domain machine. But in real life or in a production server, you should never do these things. You should definitely install it in a member server. So we're going to do an evaluation version. Accept the terms, send feature usage data to Microsoft. As this is a lab environment, we have no data to send to Microsoft. Click next. SQL will install the support files it needs for the setup. Let's click install. The SQL Server 2008 R2 setup is actually a 3 or 4 phase installation. It will check with the prerequisites and demand of the other software requirements, and if everything passes, then SQL Server would be installed. Later on, you should be configuring the ODBC and the network ports that should be connected. That would be use to connect with your application servers from your client machines or from other servers. ODBC uses two types of connections. One is endpoints and one is bidirect IP addresses, TCP IP. So after the installation, we will be showing you how to configure the ODBC and also TCP IP settings. Second phase completed, third phase coming in. Computer domain controller, it gives you a warning that you shouldn't be installing these things over here in the domain controller. Is not recommended. Okay. Firewall warning. Windows Firewall is enabled, and we will be doing these things by default. It doesn't matter. Just click next. So primarily we will be installing SQL Server feature installations, and you can go ahead with all the features with Power Pivot for SharePoint, but right now we're not going for any Power Pivot for SharePoint. We're going to go for the feature installations. This is where we get to select what we need to install. Replication services, text search, analysis services, reporting services, BI if you want, client tools connectivity, integration services, client tools backward compatibility. If you have legacy software that should be running in into your network and connected to this server, you should check check this box on. I'm not going to do any development works, and this is SQL Server Books Online. This is a great system, great thing to install. You will need, if you need any help, this book would be the most comprehensive book ever created for SQL. Management consoles, client connectivity, SD sub. We're not going to do that. Sync framework. Okay. Click next. Show details, express tools, supported edition, .NET Framework support check. These are SQL to shared components, and also media language library. These are the things we're not actually gonna need, not applicable. So click next. Default instances, Microsoft SQL Server. This is my primary Microsoft SQL Server. I'm installing on the directory over here. Definitely you should go for a different folder other than C drive, unless you have redundancy on the C drive, like RAID 5 or something like that. Click next. This is where the server configuration comes in. You can also do this anti-authority system, and there is the password for it. You can go for it for the anti-authority system, or you can manually assign agents different account name for it. Let's create some users. In the managed service account, you should create some users according to services required over here. Let's create a new user. There were some companies that, and in their policy, it required that you need to have different users for every different services that Microsoft SQL Server is running because of the auditing purposes and to track changes. User login name. The first one is SQL agent. This is SQL agent. Next, by all means, these users never should be an admin. They should be system service accounts only. Password never expires. Put in some passwords in it. Click next. Finish. This is the first user. Let's copy. Create another one. The second one would be database engine. For the database engine, you can also use for the system account. You will need to create engine another user for engine. Okay, let's create the second one would be standard user. Put in the password. Finish. There is an analysis service, SQL analysis. Again, put in the passwords. And then create another one for reporting services. So the reporting user is, so we have created 4 agent analysis, standard reports, and user. So let's use this accounts over here. SQL agent, password, startup type would be automatic, database engine should be system, analysis services. Let's do one thing to show you that you can browse these things. SQL analysis service and reporting service. Reports. Oops. Reports. Okay, there is the user reports, and for service integration, you can also use the system agent and put in the passwords then. And all these things should be, the startup type should be automatic. Click next, or you can also do for click for just use the same account for all SQL Server services. Click next. Okay, I did some errors. Okay, let's go for the same account for everyone. What we're going to do today is to do a mixed mode authentication systems for the SQL and put in the passwords in it. You can also go for Windows authentication mode, add the current user, administrator, click next. Oops, sorry. The data directories would be shown here unless otherwise you definitely need to go for these folders to be moved into a uh, different locations. You should do that other than placing all the files in the C drive. Click next, add the current user, account provisionings. So these are the services, analysis services administrator have unrestricted access to the analysis. Data directories, again, never put those things into the C drive. Click next. Install the native mode plan configurations because we're not actually going for any SharePoint integrated mode default configurations. Uh, so the reporting services only. We're going for native mode. Error reports to Microsoft. Since this is a lab, there would be so many errors. Microsoft would actually lose track of it. So everything is passed. Click next. This is the whole thing that we're going to install. Blah blah blah. So this is for your reading. If you like to go through all the mumbo jumbos over here, go for it. But at first you should go for the whole installation process and read all these things that you're actually installing, because in the near future you're going to need it. So primarily the installation starts. So let's do go for the control panel. Okay, it will take definitely some time to install. What I'm going to do is to pause the video and I'll be right back when the installation completes. The installation has just been completed. Installation completed successfully. Let's see what are the new features that came in. Uh, configuration tools, analysis services, deployment wizards, SQL configuration manager. This is what we're going to do next. Integration services, performance tools. As you can hear some beep, that's my UPS. We're currently running on backup power, so can't help it right now. Let's close it. There are some tools available over here. You can go through. So let's go for the configuration manager. As you can see, all the services are fully automatic and up and running. This is what you can also do as a local service. Start mode should be automatic. So this is also running in automatic mode. Network configurations and the client protocols. NAND pipes and TCP/IP both are turned on. As you can see, default port number is 1433. Name pipes default query is this is for your um, application software. Some application softwares runs through ODBC. So let's configure the ODBC. Add a DSN, SQL Server, name, let's test query, test ODBC, server. You can also type in the name of your local machine. Pick a SQL Server agent, authentication systems with ASA. To type in the password. So one quick thing, as you can see that both of these things can be configured individually. For TCP/IP, it uses the port 1433, and for name pipes, it uses the query path name. So let's cancel it. Next. And if you have multiple databases, you can also choose these things and database name. So let's click, we're going to use the master database. Click next and finish. Let's run the test the query. Test completed successfully. So we have now created a connector for SQL Server. So this is basically it. We have just installed SQL Server 2008 R2. If you have time to go through all these things, please do. There are so many things that you could learn by accessing these pages. Requirements, software requirements, hardware requirements, and there are so many things that you could go through. So hopefully this video is informational to you. Bye.